Hello learners, welcome to an art studio. This is live e-Vidya program for Science and Tech secondary course of in iOS. I am Neelam Gupta, course coordinator of Environmental Science. Welcome you all in this program. Learners, in our previous program we have discussed about nutrition from life processes. 1. It contains nutrition, transportation, respiration, excretion. This is lesson number 22 from module 5, the living world. So, during that program we have discussed about need for energy requirement for life processes, steps in photosynthesis, as well as various modes of heterotrophic nutrition in living organisms and importance of the process of nutrition in humans as well as nutritional disorders, and we have also discussed concept of balanced diet when we discussed during that program. Now we will discuss food adulteration, respiration, transportation, excretion. So what we are discussing today, we will discuss food adulteration, fundamental aspects of transport of material in plants and animals, need for and step in the process of respiration and excretion in human as well as plants. So now we will discuss food adulteration. When we go to the market, why we do prefer to buy food products sold in sealed packets and items made by the standard reliable companies. So, simple answer may be manufacturer selling its products in sealed packet or brand ensures delivery of good quality products. So, when we talk about food adulteration, means any attempt to mix items of food with cheaper substandard edible or inedible substances is called as adulteration. Food adulteration may be deliberately or accidental addition of inferior, harmful or non-nutritive substances to food, compromising its quality and safety, and that poses serious health risk and is a major concern in food safety regulations too. So, these adulterants can be intentional and unintentional both. Intentional means added to increase profit margin, like mixing water in milk, and unintentional means resulting from poor hygiene or storage conditions, that is pesticides, residue. So, there are a table we will showing you in the next slide. There are some food items and their adulterants, what we found in the mixing items. So, there are some cereals you can find straw, husk, stone, inferior quality grains, infected or insect infested grains. In case of pulses, there are some straw, khesri dal in arhar, tuar dal, inferior quality grains, infected grains and maternal yellow dye. In case of milk, starch, water, milk of other animals, extraction of fat and synthetic milk, they are the common adulterant in milk. Mineral oil, argemone oil, artificial colors are added in edible oils. In case of turmeric, starch colored with chromate or maternal yellow dye. Coriander powder, we find powdered cow or horse dung, sawdust and starch. This is these are the common adulterant in coriander. In case of black pepper, sometimes mixed with dried papaya seeds, they are very similar. So you can take an activity for food adulteration. So you can take this activity can be done at your home also. So you can take 5 any food items present in your home like pulses, rice, chana, black pepper, wheat, coriander seed, and looking for the some various adulterant present in each of these 5 food items, or how many items you are taking. So, you can find whether these adulterants are edible or inedible, and you can make a table also. So, now we will move the next section of this program, that is transportation. Simple means we are talking about transportation is the transfer of things or material from one place to another place, or another one part to another part. The distribution in case of life processes, transportation means distribution of food and oxygen to all parts of the body, as well as removal of the body waste is performed by a transport system within the body of all living organisms. So, we know our body also secretes many hormones which have to be carried out to their target organs. Fluid of blood, flow of fluid, there are 2 mode of transport, this is blood and or lymph. Within the body for transport purposes is termed circulation, and the organ for circulation helps or constitute a circulatory system. So, first we will talk about transportation of plants in material in plants. So, how does this water move up from the roots or to leaves for photosynthesis with mineral and water and food also. During the photosynthesis, food is prepared by the leaves, and this also transport through all the part of the plant's part. So, you have already an idea about conductive tissue of the plants, that is xylem and phloem, and we also know function of xylem is to transport water and mineral upward from the roots to the rest of the plant, while phloem transports food or sugars or starch and other nutrients from the leaves to all parts of the plant in both upward and downward directions. And xylem also provides mechanical support, while phloem moves products of photosynthesis for respiration and growth. So, now transportation of water, how does it done? Roots of the plant take up water and mineral from the soil, and tracheids and vessels present in the xylem, which are the non-living cells of the xylem, transport water picked up by the root hairs from soil to the leaves. So, upward movement of water and minerals from soil, termed ascent of cell, is against gravity and is due to transpiration pull. Transpiration is a process in which a lot of water evaporates as water vapors from stomata, and this evaporation creates a vacuum and pulls up water through the xylem. This is known as transpiration pull. In case of transportation of food materials, the sugars and other food molecules that are synthesized in the leaves are being transported to the other part of the plant through phloem. Phloem has sieve tubes, and sieve tubes are the living cells of the phloem which transports food. Transport of food material from leaves to other parts of the plant is known as translocation, and this food may then be stored in the form of fruit, stems and roots. So, transportation in case of human being is primarily carried out by the circulatory system, which ensures the movement of essential substances like oxygen, nutrients, hormones and waste products throughout the body. So, transportation in human circulatory system consists of centrally located muscular pump called heart and blood vessels, which are tube-like structures connected to the heart. And these blood vessels are of 3 types: arteries, veins and capillaries. Arteries carries blood from heart to various parts of the body. In case of veins, they brings blood from various parts of the body to the heart, And capillaries are thin vessels between the arteries and the veins. These capillaries allow the exchange of materials between blood and tissues. And there are circulatory fluid, blood, tissue, fluid and lymph. So, this is the structure of heart. This is outer structure of the heart. Heart is a powerful, we know, muscular organ lying between lungs, and it is four-chambered. Heart is four-chambered organ, two arterias, singular atrium, also called auricles, and two ventricles, right and left. Atrium are also right and left, and they are in number 4. And heart is made of very specialized muscle cells. These cells are known as, muscular cells are known as cardiac muscle fibers, which contracts and relax all the time without getting tired. Constriction and relaxation follows the rhythm called heartbeat, and heart pumps blood into the blood vessels. Rhythmic heartbeat result in the proper transport of substances to the various organs by means of blood. In 1 minute, normal human heartbeats are about 72 times. Abnormalities in heartbeat can be seen by taking ECG or electrocardiogram. So, this is the general plan for the human circulatory system. Oxygen laden blood from the left ventricles gets pumped into a large artery called aorta. It carries oxygenated blood to all parts of the body. So, we will discuss little bit detail about the general plan of the human circulatory system. So, this is the figure and how blood flows through the body based on the what is shown. So, central role of the heart, what is right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the body via the anterior and posterior vena cava. Blood flows into the right ventricle, which pumps it to the lungs through the pulmonary artery. In the lung, blood gets oxygenated and returned to the left atrium via the pulmonary vein. From the left atrium, it moves into the left ventricle, which pumps oxygenated blood, oxygen-rich blood into the rest of the body. So, heart and oxygenated blood travels from the heart to the head or via the carotid artery. Deoxygenated blood returns to the heart through veins that feed into the anterior vena cava. Next, blood from the gut or digestive system, we can say, is nutrient rich but deoxygenated blood. It travels to the liver via hepatic portal vein. The liver processes nutrients and detoxifies substances, then sends blood back to the heart via the hepatic vein. Hepatic artery supplies oxygenated blood to the liver directly from the heart, and left ventricle pumps oxygenated blood to the rest of the body, delivering oxygen and nutrients. Deoxygenated blood returns via systemic veins to the posterior vena cava, completing the circuit. So, this diagram illustrates the double circulatory system, means pulmonary and systemic, which is essential for efficient oxygen and nutrient delivery. So, you can take a little bit activity, you can visit a hospital or nearby nursing home and ask the staff how does this heart work. So, you must notice that veins bring oxygen depleted and carbon dioxide laden blood to the heart, and arteries take oxygen laden blood away from the heart. And you can also see some videos too. So, there are two exceptions. Pulmonary artery carries carbon dioxide laden blood and pulmonary veins carries oxygen laden blood. So, there is a very vital concept is blood pressure. What is it? It is the force with which blood pushes against the walls of the arteries. It is generally measured in terms of how high it can push a column of mercury. When ventricle contracts, pressure of blood inside the arteries is highest. In a healthy young human being, it is about 120 millimeters of mercury. So, when the ventricle relaxes, pressure of the blood inside the artery is comparatively less. It is about 80 millimeters of mercury in a healthy young human. So, we can say a healthy young human has a normal blood pressure of 120 by 80 millimeter mercury. The instrument which is used to measure blood pressure is a sphygmomanometer. Next, there is another important concept, that is pulse rate. The systemic contraction of the heart can be felt as a jerk in certain arteries like the radial arteries in the wrist and neck artery below the jaw, which are superficial in position, and this is called arterial pulse, and pulse rate is the same as the rate of heart beat. So, you can feel or you can take activity to measure your pulse rate. So, locate and hold the radial artery present in your wrist as seen in the figure. Try and count the number of beats in a specific time. This is called pulse and will give you an idea of the number of times your heart beats in a minute. Or you can visit local medical center or get your pulse rate and blood pressure checked, and also that is your family members too. So, you know what is your pulse rate and what is your blood pressure. So, now we talk about the circulatory medium. It is three different types: blood, tissue fluid and lymph. Blood found in heart and blood vessels, tissue fluid found in spaces between cells in organs, and lymph found in lymph vessels and lymphatic organ like tonsils and spleen. So, we will talk about blood. Blood is a connective tissue that circulates throughout the body. It is made up of fluid medium called plasma, in which float two types of blood cells, that is called red blood cells, white blood cells, and some cell fragments also present, which is called as blood platelets. Blood cells are manufactured in the bone marrow. So, what are the RBCs or red blood cells? Scientific name is erythrocytes. They are circular in shape and contain a red colored pigment called hemoglobin. No nucleus is found in RBC, and RBC carries oxygen to tissues and bring back carbon dioxide from the tissues. WBC or leukocytes or white blood cells, since they carry no pigment, so they are colorless. Leuko means colorless. They have irregular shape and they prevent body from infections by eating up germ or by producing antibodies to fight antigens. Blood platelets or thrombocytes, they are very small fragment of cells. They have no nuclei and they participate in clotting of blood. So, now what is the function of blood? Blood carries nutrients, oxygen, carbon dioxide, hormones and waste materials to the relevant part of the body. Some medicines when taken in the body are also distributed through blood. So, you must have heard that blood has to arrange for a person undergoing a surgery or in case of accident or in case of persons suffering from thalassemia. So, this arrangement is to replace blood lost from the patient. So, injecting blood into the body from outside is known as blood transfusion. And blood transfusion is successful only when the blood of donor and the recipient match. Donor is who gives blood and recipient who receives blood. Unmatched blood transfusion causes agglutination of red blood cells, due to which the recipient may die. So, on the basis of types of protein present in the blood, a system of blood groups known as ABO system, having 4 blood groups named A, B, AB and O, is recognizing in human blood. So, next we are showing a table which shows human blood groups and their compatibility. So, antigens present on membrane of RBC of transfused blood is counteracted by antibodies present in the plasma of recipient. So, if you have blood group A, you have antigen on RBCs A, antibodies in plasma B, and you can donate blood to A group, blood group A or AB, and you can receive blood from blood group A and O. In case of B blood group, you have blood group antigen B, antibodies A, and you can donate blood to B and AB group, and you can receive blood from B group and O group. In case of AB blood group, antigen on RBC AB, no antibodies found in AB group, they can donate blood only to AB group, and they can receive all blood groups A, AB, AB and O. O blood group has no antibody, they have no antigens, they have antibody A and B, they can donate blood to all blood group, and they can receive only blood from O group. So, we can say blood group O can donate to all other because it lacks antigens, makes it less likely to trigger an immune response, and universal recipient is blood group AB. They can receive from all other, since there is no antibodies to attack incoming antigens. So, antigen versus antibody we can talk. Antigens are markers on red blood cells, and antibodies are immune proteins in plasma that attack foreign antigens. This compatibility is crucial during blood transfusions to avoid immune reactions. The person with blood group O can donate blood to all, and so all O group is known as universal donor, and AB group can receive blood from donors of all blood group and is called universal recipient. Now we talk about lymphatic system. Lymph is a circulatory fluid and flows in the lymph vessels. It is yellow in color. It always flows from the one direction, from tissue to heart, and cells called lymphocytes present in lymph eat the germs and present body from infections, and it returns protein and fluid from circulation to tissues. So, sometimes you have heard some person is suffering from heart ailment or circulatory disorders like heart attack, anemia, leukemia, hypertension. There we will take a short break. After break we will discuss heart related ailments and other part of the program, that is
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा और परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर। दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने।
Before taking a break, we are talking about food adulteration. We have talked about transportation in plants and human being. Now, and we have talked some circulatory system. We have talked about the structure of heart, and now we will move into disorder related to circulatory system. There are several disorders. We will talk about heart attack, anemia, leukemia, etc. First, we will talk about talk about heart attack. Like other organs, all other organs, heart also needs nutrients and oxygen. When arteries supplying the heart become thick due to age or faulty diet consisting of excessive fatty food, muscle cells of the heart cannot be in proper rhythm. So, heart attack occurs when which can be detected in an abnormal ECG. Immediate medical attention is then required. Second, anemia. More than 50% population is anemic. So, when hemoglobin level falls below a certain point, condition is called as anemia. It makes a person weak and look pale and inactive. Iron is the diet helps remove, and iron rich in diet helps remove anemia. Leukemia is known as blood cancer. Bone marrow makes excessive WBC and few RBCs. That condition is leukemia. Hypertension again is very dangerous thing. is a very health element. Another term for using hypertension is high blood pressure, and it leads headache, dizziness and fatigue. We know normal blood pressure is 120/80. Proper diet, exercises, medicines and tension-free mind helps to cure high blood pressure. So now we will move next life processes, that is also very important life process too, and we are talking about respiration. We assume we can live without food for several days, but we cannot live without breathing even a short while. Breathing provides oxygen to the cells of our body for oxidation of food in order to generate energy for doing various activities. First, we will talk about what is respiration, and we will also discuss about respiration in plants as well as human being. So, respiration is a process of exchanging gases and producing energy in living organisms involving the intake of oxygen and the release of carbon dioxide. So, in case of plant doesn't have any special respiratory organ. Their roots take up oxygen from air trapped in the soil by means of root hairs, and root hairs are embedded in the soil. Oxygen surrounding them diffuses into the root hair and from there into the roots. So, carbon dioxide given out similarly diffuses out through roots, and stomata and leaves opens to let in oxygen and release carbon dioxide. In the older part of the roots and or bark of woody plants, tiny openings are found. This is known as lenticels. It is through these lenticels that oxygen reaches the inner living tissues and carbon dioxide moves out. So, guard cells help in the opening and closing of stomata. When guard cells get filled up with water, they swell and become turgid. Two guard cells curve away from each other, opening the stomata. When guard cells become flaccid, stomata closes. Minerals also play a role in making guard cells turgid or flaccid. So, now we move to the respiration in humans. Respiration may be divided into two steps: breathing, that involves inhalation of air containing oxygen, and exhalation of carbon dioxide. And cellular respiration is responsible for release of energy by oxidation of food and its conversion into ATP, adenosine triphosphate, that is an energy molecule. So, do you feel breathing and respiration is the same process or different process? Yes, answer may be it is a different process. Respiration is different from breathing. How can we define? Breathing is the physical process of respiratory gaseous exchange between the organism and the environment by diffusion. It takes place in the lungs. Respiration involves oxidation of food and releases of energy, which takes place in the cells along with respiratory gaseous exchange. So, now we will discuss respiratory system in humans, and human respiratory system has various parts, that is nostrils, nasal cavity, pharynx, windpipe or trachea or bronchi. So, look at the figure: external nares or nostrils, nasal cavity inside the nose, internal nostrils opening into pharynx, pharynx that leads into the windpipe or trachea. Trachea divides into two bronchi, one bronchus which leads into the two lungs. An opening of the pharynx into trachea is known as glottis. Trachea is thin walled, but its wall do not collapse even when there is not enough air in it, as it is supported by rings of cartilage. Trachea bifurcate into bronchi. Lungs encloses within them branches of bronchi called bronchioles, which branch further and end in very thin wall sac like a structure called air sac or alveoli. Voice box or larynx is present on the trachea. And now, how does it work or mechanism of breathing? So, lungs are located in the chest cavity or the thoracic cavity. Below the thoracic cavity is the abdominal cavity, and these two cavities are separated from each other by a dome shaped structure known as muscular sheath called diaphragm. The movement of diaphragm helps in breathing. Breathing, also called ventilation, involves two processes, that is inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation means drawing the air inwards, is a result or increase in the volume, result of the increase in the volume of the thoracic cavity. This increase is caused by the changes that take place in the position of diaphragm and ribs. You can see in the figure A. Diaphragm straightens out due to contraction of these its muscles. Ribs are raised upward and outward and volume of the chest cavities enlarges by contraction of the rib muscles. As volume of chest increases, pressure of air in it decreases, atmospheric air rushes it and reaches the alveoli. It brings in oxygen which diffuses into the capillaries from the alveoli. Exhalation is a result of decrease in the volume of the thoracic cavity. This decrease in the volume is caused when diaphragm relaxes and resumes its dome shaped structure arcing upward. So, ribs are lowered down and inward, thoracic cavity is compressed and the pressure inside the lungs is increased. Alveolar carbon dioxide diffuses out and is pushed out through the trachea and nose. This breathing out of carbon dioxide, leaden air, is called exhalation. If you take long breaths, you can feel your chest is go up and down. So, there is one term is known as breathing rate. When at rest, an adult human breathes about 16 to 18 times per minute. Breathing rate increases during physical exercises, disease, fever, pain and under stress. So, you can check, take activity, check your breathing rate at rest. Now, run for 5 minutes and climb 15 stairs and then checking breathing rate. So, you can observe, you will observe that you start, your breathing rate increases as you run or climb the stairs. So, there is a function, or we can say exchange of gases between, how does exchange of gases between blood and tissues. Inhalation fills in the alveoli of lung with oxygenated air. This oxygenated air has to reach the various tissues of the body, and thus as the first step, blood capillaries on alveoli pick up oxygen from alveoli and carbon dioxide brought by the capillaries from the tissues is exchanged for oxygen. So, oxygen diffuses into alveoli in the tissue, oxygen gets used up and carbon dioxide is accumulated, which is now exchanged for oxygen in blood. The carbon dioxide picked up by blood from tissues is carried to the heart by veins. When we talk about the respiration, we all know respiration is oxygen is inside the tissue, and oxygen acts upon the digested food which has reached the tissues of the cells of the tissues. As a result, energy and carbon dioxide are released, and this activity, this process occur in the mitochondria of the cell, and that is why it is known as cellular respiration. Do you know why mountaineers or sea divers carry oxygen cylinder and wear oxygen mask? Why? So, as we climb higher and higher altitude, the air pressure becomes lower and lower. So, reduced oxygen supply causes breathing troubles, and oxygen mask facilitate breathing. People living in hilly areas have evolved adaptation such as increased number of RBCs or large thoracic cavity. Divers carry oxygen mask because we derive our oxygen, respiratory oxygen from air, not water. There are some artificial respiration. Victim of an accident like drowning, electric shock or inhalation or poisonous gas suffers from the asphyxia or lack of oxygen. Symptoms may be bluing of lips, fingernails and tongue, stoppage of breathing, and in such cases mouth to mouth respiration is given. So, you must have really realized how important respiration is for survival. Medical technology has introduced certain gadgets like oxygen mask and ventilators, which assist the patient in respiration during the breathing problem. Often these help the patient to overcome such problems. So, many chemical reactions that takes place inside our body. Some products of these chemical reactions are not needed by the body. So, they may even be harmful if they accumulate in the body. So, their removal from the body is excretion. So, excretion is the biological process of removing waste products like carbon dioxide, urea from an organism's body to maintain homeostasis. In human being, excretion is carried out by the organ system known as urinary system or excretory system. You must have realized so, there is a figure on the right side. There is a human excretory system, has two bean shaped kidney located below the diaphragm into the abdomen and towards the back. Two excretory tubes or ureter, one from each kidney. One urinary bladder, ureter open into it. A muscular tube like urethra arises from the bladder. The urinary opening is at the end of urethra. So, structure and function of unit of the kidney is nephron. Each kidney is made of tube-like structure called nephron. Nephron is a structure and functional unit of the kidney. A cup-shaped upper end of the nephron is known as Bowman capsule. Has the network of capillaries within it's called glomerulus. Glomerulus is a knot of capillaries formed from the artery which brings blood containing waste and excess of the water to the kidney. Bowman capsule leads into the tubular structure. Tubular part of the nephron or renal tube has three subparts: the proximal convoluted tubule (PCT), a thinner loop tube called loop of Henle, and the distal convoluted tubule (DCT). Blood capillaries surrounded these tubules. Now move to the mechanism. Filtration and reabsorption are the two important processes of excretion. Blood entering in the glomerulus gets filtered in the Bowman capsule and is called the nephric filtrate. The red blood corpuscles or cells and proteins do not filter out, they remain in the blood stream. The filtrate entering the renal tubule not only contain waste but also useful substances. The useful substances are getting reabsorbed from the tubule into the blood capillaries surrounding the tubules, and excess water and salt like sodium and chloride also get reabsorbed into the blood from the renal tubule. Then waste alone, which is primary in the form of urea, enters into collecting tubules, and from various renal tubules this is urine. From the kidney, urine enters into the ureter to reach the urinary bladder, where it is temporarily stored. Urine is thrown out periodically through the urinary opening. So, now we talk about functions of kidneys. Kidneys not only excrete nitrogenous waste but also regulate the water content of the body by the process of osmoregulation and keep the normal mineral balance in the blood. When it is upset, this balance is upset, a person can fall ill. So, other organ that remove waste from our body. Apart from kidney are lung, skin and liver. Sweat glands in the skin remove excess salt and when we perspire, and lungs remove carbon dioxide. Look at the figure, there are several organs which also help to remove waste from our body. So, how to maintain the internal environment? A person gets sick if the balance of substances like minerals, ions, water or even hormones inside the body is upset. Maintenance of the correct amount of water and mineral ions in the blood is termed osmoregulation. Certain diseases or sometimes an accident may lead to kidney failure. Since the number of nephrons is as large as amount almost 1 million in each kidney, a person can survive even with one kidney. However, in case both the kidneys are damaged, it is difficult to remain alive. So, kidney failure, dialysis and transplants are the modern technology can now save such type of patients, helping new techniques like kidney transplant and dialysis. This figure shows a setup of an artificial kidney. A tube is inserted in an artery to the patient's arm or leg. The tube is connected into the kidney machine. This plastic tube has two membranes so as to form one tube within the other. In the inner tube flows blood from patient's artery. This blood is surrounded by fluid. In the outer tube, separated from it by the membrane of the inner tube, waste move out of blood into the fluid. The blood cleaned of its waste goes back to from the kidney machine into the vein in the arm or leg or back in the body. The dialysis fluid carrying waste is removed from the machine. This technique is known as dialysis. So, nowadays a surgeon may sometimes remove a non-functional kidney from a patient or replace it with a kidney donated by the other person. Care, however, has to be taken so that the foreign kidney get accepted by the body of the recipient. So, this is all about transportation, circulation, respiration and excretion. Now, we recap the main points in the form of what you have learned. First, nutrition is a process by which living being procure food or synthesize it or change it into simple absorbable form by a series of biochemical processes in the body. Photosynthesis provides food for all. It is ultimate source of energy for all living organisms and it is essential for sustaining life. Balanced diet contains adequate amount of essential nutrients like carbohydrate, fat, protein, vitamin, mineral and water. Amount of these nutrients in diet depends upon a number of factors like age, sex and nature of work or of an individual perform. Conversion of complex food material into smaller substances so that it can be absorbed by the cells is known as digestion. Digestive system enables conversion of ingested food into its simpler form. The process of digestion requires a number of enzymes. So, absorption of food occurs mainly in the small intestine. Simple soluble food molecules are absorbed from the small intestine into blood, which takes from them to all the cell of the body. A disease that occurs due to lack of adequate and balanced diet is known as deficiency disease. Deficiency disease caused due to malnutrition are of three types: protein energy malnutrition, mineral deficiency disease and vitamin deficiency disease. Distribution of food and oxygen to all part of body as well as the removal of body waste is performed by a transport system within the body of all organisms. Human heart is a four-chambered heart. Two upper chambers are called atria and lower chamber are ventricle. Heart is made of cardiac muscle fiber. Every human being belongs to 1 to 4 blood group, that is A, B, AB and O. Blood transfusion can be between matching blood groups. Person with blood group O can donate blood to all and O group is called universal donor and AB group can receive blood from all blood groups. and is known as universal recipient. Breathing is a physical process of respiratory gaseous exchange between the organism and the environment by diffusion, and on the other hand, respiration involves oxidation of food and release of energy along with respiratory gaseous exchange. In human being, excretion is carried out by an organ system known as urinary system or excretory system, and nephron is the structure and functional unit of the kidney. So this is all about life processes 1: nutrition, transportation, respiration and excretion. We will come again to meet you new program of science and technology. Till then, goodbye and thank you.